Welcome to Taylor Money Talk, where we connect history, economics, and strategy to understand where we have been and the direction we are heading next. This is a general discussion and is not intended to be specific investment advice. To make sense of today's financial world, you have to see it as part of a continuum, a long historical cycle that began with the collapse of the old empires and continues to shape markets, politics, and capital today. The modern global order was born out of two great wars. World War I shattered four dynasties, the German, Russian, Austro-Hungarian, and Ottoman empires. World War II finished the transformation. Europe was left politically exhausted, financially bankrupt, and morally shaken. From that destruction came a new framework, the Bretton Woods Agreement of 1944, which placed the US dollar and the United States itself at the very center of global finance. But the old powers didn't vanish. Their wealth and influence migrated westward, re-emerging through new institutions, the United Nations, the IMF, the World Bank, the Bank for International Settlements, and later the European Union and the World Economic Forum. Over the next 80 years, dynastic families evolved into institutional capital. Monarchs became managers. Power shifted from royalty to multinational corporations and global asset managers, names like BlackRock and Vanguard, who now steer entire economies using the savings of ordinary investors. We're now entering a new cycle, and the investment paradigm itself is shifting in four major ways. First, deflationary expectations that guided markets for 40 years are giving way to inflationary expectations. The psychology of money is changing. Second, the cooperative multiplayers world of post-war politics is fragmenting into competitive single-play contests. Nations are no longer coordinating, they're competing. Third, capital markets are becoming political utilities. They now serve policy as much as profit. Fourth, capitalist productivity has evolved into financialization. Leverage and liquidity now matter more than invention or labor. We live in a world of mass manipulation. Algorithms, advertising, and narrative now shape markets as effectively as investment fundamentals ever did. Finance, politics, and information have merged into a single system. That's the defining feature of the new era. So where does that leave us as investors? First, recognize the cycle. Act consciously, not passively. This is not a time for automatic allocation. Despite the headlines, the United States remains the most stable, self-sufficient, and investable major economy on Earth. Public narratives exaggerate U.S. weakness and ignore deeper vulnerabilities abroad. Much of Europe is stagnant. China struggles with property rights risk and political opacity. Many emerging markets still lack the rule of law. Against that backdrop, the United States remains the rational anchor for capital. And let's clear up one common illusion. Cash is a myth. In a digital debt-based system, every dollar is a liability on someone else's balance sheet. There is no such thing as cash on the sidelines. In a future episode, we'll unpack the monetary plumbing behind that illusion and show why. Understanding it is critical to your survival as an investor. Here's how to think about positioning. Keep U.S. domiciled assets as your foundation. Be selective abroad. Governance, property rights, and social stability should be your first filters, not your last. In energy, scrutinize policy-driven green projects and their impact on utility balance sheets. And watch for trends like the quiet rise of small nuclear reactors, a potential long-term winner if costs and regulation align. Above all, be intentional. Avoid blind pooling into passive, globalist-managed products. Know what you own, why you own it, and who truly benefits from your capital. Every empire believes it's exceptional, but power always migrates from kings to corporations, from nations to networks, and from truth to narrative. The challenge for every investor is to recognize which phase we're in before it's priced in. In our next episode, we'll explore the anatomy of money itself and why understanding how the system truly works may be the most important investment education of your life. Thank you for joining me on Taylor Money Talk. If you enjoyed this, you can subscribe on YouTube or your other favorite platforms and receive notifications for new episodes.